The internet was invented nearly 30 years ago. The Roman Empire existed 50 times earlier, and Romans were as distant from us as Egyptians were from them. Humans mastered fire far before the Egyptian Empire and even before life appeared on Earth. That's 2 million times further back in time than the distance that separates us from the last pharaohs. Time gaps between us and past events can be dizzying, and the further back, the more complex it becomes. We're often tempted to say, it was a very long time ago. The mountains and oceans date back to the dawn of time. If we could show all time since the world began, where would we be? How can we make these vast time spans feel real? In 1977, the brilliant Carl Sagan made an impressive attempt to answer this by imagining a unique calendar. A cosmic calendar in which the entire history of the universe would fit into just one of our years. To fit the universe's 13.8 billion years into a calendar, time must be condensed so each day equals 37.8 million years each hour, 1.6 million each minute, 26,000 years, and each second, 438 years. This calendar begins with the Big Bang, which takes place on January 1st at midnight, and the end of the calendar is on the evening of December 31st, our present. This helps us put huge spans of time in perspective. We also realize we must wait until September 2nd for our world to begin. Earth's history occupies less than a third of this calendar of all time. Before that, only events whose traces remain in the sky occurred. From January 2-3, the first stars form in the universe. On January 10, the first galaxies form. But we have to wait until March 16th to see ours born, the Milky Way. Then wait until mid-May before it becomes the spiral galaxies we know today. During all this time, within it, nebulae are torn apart, stars are born, live, and others die. Interstellar gas clouds collapse, and one eventually forms our solar system. We are on September 2nd, September 9th. Life begins as unicellular organisms, but not until early November do the first multicellular organisms appear. Then, for a month and a half, all kinds of bacteria appear on Earth, cells with nuclei, the first plants, and even animals that remain desperately small, discrete, and soft. In mid-December, the tree of life takes off, the Cambrian explosion. It's December 14th. And, in the space of at most 10 hours, all the body types that still exist today will appear. Shellfish, starfish, sea urchins, corals, sponges. Any creature, like an oyster or yourself, likely has origins tracing back to that December 14th. Then on the 17th, the arthropods arrive, quickly joined on the 18th by the fish, the first vertebrates. Up to this point, life is confined to the water, and it's only on the 20th that the first plants venture onto dry land. On December 21, insects arrive, on the 22nd, amphibians, on the 23rd, reptiles, and the first trees. Then, on Christmas Day, dinosaurs take over Earth. A unique reign lasting 165 million years. Just 4.5 days on our calendar. Mammals appear on December 26th, birds on the 27th, and flowering plants on the 28th. On the morning of the 30th, a 10-kilometer asteroid causes the dinosaurs' extinction. It's December 31st, the year's final day. It's noon when the cetaceans appear. The ancestors of the great apes arrive in the early afternoon, shortly after 2 o'clock. But you have to wait until 7:30 in the evening to have the chance to see the first hominids, and 9 o'clock to hope to meet an Australopithecus. At about 11:45, Sapiens appears on the world stage. For us, everything happens at the very end of the evening, during the last quarter of the last hour of the last day of the calendar. A brief 15 minutes holds all of modern man's history. Fire is domesticated at 11:46. You must wait until 11:56 to see Sapiens leave Africa. Over the next 4 minutes, our ancestors will gradually colonize the world at a rate of 50 kilometers per generation. At 11:58, they create their first sculpture and the first paintings, cross the Bering Strait, and begin to colonize America. It is 23:59 and 20 seconds when Sapiens leaves his marks in the Lascaux cave, and 30 seconds past when he invents agriculture. At 23:59:47, he smelts metals and invents writing. 1 second later, major civilizations arise in Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Indus Valley. 2 seconds later, the Great Pyramid of Khufu is constructed. Now we're in the final 10 seconds, including most of what humans call history. In 3 seconds, we master bronze and iron, invent alphabets, and build cities like Athens and Rome. The hand moves forward again. Alexander the Great, whose life is just a blink at this scale, conquers much of the world. It's 11:59:55. When Christianity emerges, the Roman Empire is at its height. A second later, it collapses. New empires rise and fall. It's the Middle Ages, Crusades, 100 Years' War, fall of Constantinople, Ming Empire, Columbus rediscovers America, the Renaissance, then the last second with the modern era. Major discoveries, political, scientific, and industrial revolutions, and the 2 world wars. And then, during the last fifth of a second on our calendar, we invented metal objects that fly and play among the clouds. Walked on the moon, explored cosmic history, altered Earth's climate, and invented countless possessions. 500 or even 1 second ago, several kings would have raised armies too large to count here. In Sagan's calendar game, the internet is just 1/20 of a second old. The average human lifespan is only 2 eye blinks. That really puts things into perspective.